Astronauts were fixing a satellite when they were suddenly hit by fast-moving objects. This damaged their spaceship and they died right away. NASA was shocked, but quickly started to look into what happened. They saw many objects flying toward the eastern part of the USA. In New York, people were doing their everyday things when big balls of fire fell from the sky. People were scared and ran away. Buildings were destroyed. In a few seconds, the city was full of fire and destroyed. At NASA, the person in charge, Dan Truman, talked to the president about what was happening. They found out that the meteors that hit the astronauts in the eastern USA were just part of a huge asteroid. They think the asteroid is as big as Texas. Dan told the president that the asteroid could kill all life on Earth. They have only 18 days to find a way to stop it. Not the best news to receive as the President of the United States. Harry Stamper, who owns an oil drilling platform in the South China Sea, was playing golf. He tried to hit a small boat of people who were protesting against oil drilling. He laughed at them and said their boat uses a lot of diesel every hour they protest. His friend Chick told him one of the drills was not working right. Harry knew right away that it was AJ's fault. Harry goes to AJ's room and walks in. AJ jumps out of bed and says sorry for what happened. Harry is surprised because AJ doesn't usually say sorry so fast. He thinks something is wrong and finds his daughter Grace in AJ's bed. Not bad, AJ. Not bad. Harry gets his gun and chases AJ, shooting at him. AJ avoids the bullets and tries to tell Harry that he loves Grace. But Harry doesn't listen and keeps shooting until a bullet bounces back and hits AJ in the leg. Grace comes in to help. At NASA, everyone is trying to find a way to stop the big asteroid from space. They think of many ideas, like putting solar sails on the rock or shooting lasers at it, but none of them seem to work. Back at the oil platform, Grace tells Harry off because she is frustrated with how he treats her. She says he can't keep telling her what to do. When they are with clients, Grace tells Harry that she likes AJ and wants to be with him. She says she's been around tough guys all her life, so it's not so weird for her to like one. In a meeting at NASA, the military leaders and scientists talk. The head scientist, Dr. Ronald Quincy, suggests a plan. The president's advisors think they should shoot many nuclear rockets at the rock to change its path. But Ronald says this is not a good idea. If you agree with Ronald, please subscribe to the channel. The big asteroid from space is moving so fast and is so big that rockets won't do much to it. The idea is to drill a hole in the rock, put a nuclear bomb in it, and blow it up. This would break the rock into pieces that would miss Earth. To do this, they need the best drilling team in the world. Doesn't sound like a complicated plan, right? The military goes to Harry's oil platform and takes him and Grace to NASA. Dan tells them about the problem and the plan to drill a hole into the rock. Dan shows Harry a new drill that looks like the one Harry designed. Dan says they want to send 2 teams of astronauts to do the drilling, and Harry needs to train them because he's the best at it. Harry says he's only the best because of his team. He offers to help, but he wants him and his team to go to space, not the astronauts. He tells Dan that drilling is very hard and takes many years to learn. Dan agrees, and Harry says who he wants on his team. That's a plan that seems 100% logical. Great thinking, Harry. The FBI then picks up Bear, Max, Rockhound, Oscar, Chick, and AJ. Bob tells them about the big asteroid from space and the dangerous plan to stop it. They are all scared, but know that they have to say yes in order to save the entire world. The team then has to pass many hard physical and mental tests, but they all fail almost every test. Dan sees this but still says that they should go ahead. The team then meets with Colonel Willie Sharp, who will train them for the hard things about going to space. They ride in very fast fighter jets to feel what it's like when gravity is very strong. They also train underwater to feel what it's like when there's no gravity. They meet with different trainers who help them get ready for different parts of the mission. At a meeting, they learn that they will use the moon's gravity to reach the big asteroid from space. The 2 teams will land in different places and start drilling a hole at 800 feet deep. They will put a nuclear bomb in the hole, leave, and blow up the bomb from far away. They have to blow up the bomb before a certain time. If they wait too long, the pieces of the rock will still hit Earth after the explosion. Each team will get a drill that is attached to the Mars exploration rover called the Armadillo. Later, Harry finds Grace with AJ at the place where the planes are kept. He sees them having a special, private moment and decides not to bother them. AJ asks Grace to marry him. Way to go, AJ. My man has nothing to lose. The rest of the team talks to Harry about how he treats Grace. They tell Harry that he needs to let Grace grow up. Bear says that they all feel like they helped raise Grace and that they should have a say in what happens to her. They have another training drill underwater, with the team split into 2 groups. AJ, Oscar, and Bear will be on the shuttle called Independence. Harry, Chick, Rockhound, and Max will be on the shuttle called Freedom. After a mistake during training that was caused by AJ, Harry talks to AJ and tells him that they can't make any mistakes because the fate of the world depends on them. Harry asks for some time for the team to be with their families before the start of the most important mission in mankind. When the day of the launch comes, everyone in the world is waiting and hoping for the brave people who are going to space to save everyone. The president wishes them good luck. Fun fact, this is the best presidential speech in a movie ever made. If you agree, subscribe to the channel. The teams get into their shuttles and get ready to launch. The shuttle takes off successfully and later connects with the Russian space station to get more fuel. They meet with a Russian astronaut named Lev Andropov and start moving the fuel. Lev asks AJ to go to the fuel pod to make sure that everything is okay with the fuel transfer. There is a leak and the fuel pod catches on fire. Everyone panics and runs back to their shuttles to leave. AJ and Lev are left behind as everyone else flees. The 2 men find a small tunnel and get to the shuttle just in time. As the shuttles Independence and Freedom leave, the Russian space station falls apart and explodes. That's what I call perfect timing. The 2 shuttles use the moon's gravity to help them get to the big asteroid from space. They finally see the big asteroid, and both teams are amazed by its size and force. The 2 shuttles try and land there, but there are lots of chunks of big rocks moving around their ships that are big and dangerous. Independence is hit by a big rock, and NASA can only listen as the men call out for help and are losing control of the spaceship. Rocks keep on hitting the shuttles, and the crew on Independence tries to get to the cargo area to get some cover, but the space shuttle is out of control. Independence crashes, and it seems like everyone is dead. Freedom also crashes into the big asteroid a few minutes later. All the members of the Freedom crew are okay, but they landed in a place where they can't drill into the big asteroid. Or in other words, they have missed their landing target by over 100 miles and can't go back. They landed on an iron plate that is almost impossible to drill on. NASA tries to get communication with both shuttles. Under the broken parts of the Independence shuttle, AJ finds Oscar, who is dead. Lev calls to him and they find Bear. The 3 men are the only ones left from the original shuttle crew. The Freedom crew gets out their armadillo and starts drilling into the hard surface of the big asteroid. They can only drill 10 feet before the drill breaks. They can talk to Mission Control again as the connection is repaired, but it's not working well. In Independence, AJ, Bear, and Lev get into their armadillo and start traveling to the Freedom crew. The Freedom crew gets a new drill and starts drilling right away, but the transmission breaks and they have to fix it. Willie asks Harry how things are going, and Harry tells him about the problems they are dealing with. Willie runs to tell Mission Control about the problems, but Harry follows him to see what's going on. Harry and Willie argue, and they can't talk to Mission Control anymore. After seeing that the drilling isn't working, the president says to activate the nuclear bomb because he thinks the drilling operation has failed and that there is no other solution. The military tells Dan to get the men off of the asteroid because the bomb will blow up in 5 minutes. Dan calls the president and tells him that blowing up the bomb won't change the path of the asteroid, but the president doesn't change his mind. In the Freedom spaceship, as the men are arguing, they notice that the nuclear timer starts beeping. Willie tells everyone to leave and to get back into their seats in the spaceship and leave the asteroid as soon as possible because the president has turned on the bomb from Earth. Willie tells Harry to get the men back or they will be left behind. Harry tells Willie that if they don't put the bomb deep enough in the hole, the explosion won't do much to the asteroid and that all they would get is an expensive fireworks show that would have no purpose. Everyone starts yelling and arguing. Harry picks up a big tool and hopes to stop the timer, but Willie points a gun at him. What the heck is he doing with a gun in space? At NASA, Dan tells someone to quietly disconnect the signal between Earth and the bomb, in hopes that this plan will buy some time for the guys on the asteroid to figure out their situation. They manage to do it and gain an extra few minutes, but the military is not that silly. They find out about the issue and reconnect the timer. On the spaceship Freedom, Harry tries to persuade Willie to let him finish their work. He explains that if the bomb goes off now, everyone on Earth will die. Harry swears to God that he will hit the drilling mark and place the nuclear bomb in the hole on time. With less than a minute left, Willie agrees to help Harry and starts operating on the nuclear warhead. They open the bomb, and Willie looks through the wires to find the right one to disconnect. The timer starts beeping faster as it gets closer to 0, and Willie has to choose which wires to cut. He has to choose between the red and the blue wire. With only a few seconds left, Willie cuts the blue wire and the timer stops. Talk about drama in space. Freedom gets back in touch with NASA, and Harry tells them that they're going to keep going with the mission because he promised his daughter that he will come back home. The survivors from the Independent spaceship are stuck in a ditch, but AJ thinks of a way to get over it by using the asteroid's low gravity. They speed up their vehicle, the Armadillo, and jump over the ditch, flying through the air. As they are celebrating, they soon find out they can't control the spaceship and the thrusters aren't working. Lev goes out to fix them by hand, and they manage to land safely. The crew on the Freedom spaceship fix the drill, but Rockhound starts messing with the equipment. He finds a machine gun that can be controlled remotely and starts shooting at the asteroid with no control. Rockhound seems to be having a mental breakdown. He is yelling that he has the best seats in the house to witness the end of the world and thinks that they're all going to die on the asteroid. Harry is able to stop him, but the asteroid starts to break apart. This makes the Armadillo explode, and it gets launched into space with Max still inside. Unfortunately, they have lost Max for good. Now they don't have a drill, and Harry is forced to contact NASA and inform them that they weren't successful and that it's time to announce to the world that the mission has failed. Back on Earth, people are told what's happening, and they try to prepare for Armageddon, the end of the world. I wonder how one prepares for that. A big piece of the asteroid hits Paris and destroys the city. As Harry and the team get ready to leave, they see the Armadillo from the Freedom spaceship arriving and they start to cheer. Now look at that perfect timing by AJ and the crew. They tell NASA what just happened, which makes all of the employees celebrate this feeling of hope. The guys in space get their heads together and continue drilling right away, in hopes to reach the planned depth. With their last chance, the team works together to drill a hole 800 feet deep. They manage to do it and send the bomb down the hole. The asteroid starts to break apart and the men get thrown around, with some of them dying. Willie sees that the remote control for the bomb is broken, which only means one thing. Someone will have to stay behind on the asteroid to set off the bomb by hand. Inside the spaceship, the men decide to draw straws to see who will do it. The person who draws the smallest straw will stay on the asteroid and activate the bomb using a detonator. Sucks to be playing this game in this situation. AJ draws the shortest straw from all the guys. Harry takes AJ down to the asteroid, but when they get there, Harry pulls out AJ's oxygen supply and is forced to go back up to the spaceship. Harry tells AJ that he always loved him as a son, and that he has to get back home to Earth to take care of his daughter Grace, and that he would be proud if he decides to marry his daughter. Harry takes the detonator and heads towards the bomb. As the shuttle gets ready to leave the asteroid, Harry calls Grace. He tells her that he is forced to break his promise because he won't be coming back. Grace says she loves him as she breaks into tears. Harry says goodbye for the last time and turns off the transmission. This has to be the hardest moment of the movie. The shuttle engine starts and they can finally leave this cursed piece of rock once and for all. They go up, moving out of the area where the explosion will happen and start heading towards Earth. On the asteroid, Harry looks at Earth one last time before he pushes the button to set off the explosion. The asteroid explodes, breaks into pieces, and goes past the planet, missing Earth by 400 miles. The people on the starship Freedom say they're coming back home. People on Earth see the amazing explosion and start cheering. The people at NASA are very happy. They shout and cheer and congratulate each other, almost like they were the ones doing the heavy load on the asteroid. The shuttle lands safely and the team is welcomed when they get out. AJ and Grace run into each other's arms while the crowd around them is celebrating. As they are enjoying a well-deserved hug, Colonel Willie Sharp approaches Grace, asking her permission to shake the hand of the bravest man he ever met. Probably one of the most epic lines in movie history. Shortly after that, Dan Truman approaches the happy couple to congratulate them. AJ looks at Dan and tells him that Harry wanted to give him something. AJ gives Dan a ripped space badge, on which it says, "Freedom for all mankind." And with that, the movie ends.